So with your lights, now this one here, I've had for quite a few years here. It's a 10 power, and it just has a light that goes, like it's like a little flash light, right? Nowadays, though, you can buy these ones in 2, 5, 10, 12, 14. Like you can get these powered. You can go on the internet and find them from all over. And they have just a button that you push and the light comes with a magnifying glass, and then you can see right into their eyes. There's also like square ones, and so you can get all kinds of different lights. They go anywhere in price. When I was at the Vancouver Peony, inside their booths there, in like they have like a little market or whatever, I think I picked them up for $6.99. This one, whatever years, in 1996 or whatever, I paid $85 for it. So they can go up. And your light there, yeah, you have an 8 powered.
I think it was 30.
30, okay. And you got this at
the Canadian Institute for the Blind.
Right, yeah. So that's a good place to get them too. That's a nice one. And so with it, it doesn't matter which lens that you're going to go with. You need something you can see. Yeah, no, you could use this too. You can use a real magnifying glass, but then what you have to do is have, like a flashlight to be able to shine, and then with the so it would work. There's nothing saying it won't work. What else was I going to say with these? These here, the higher powered, the 10 power is really good for dark brown eyes. The 5 power is fine for blue eyes, like you can see quite a bit with it. But a lot of times the 5 power won't be strong enough for a dark brown eye. You won't be able to see the detail in there.
So you
prefer the 10 power would be good, or even more. And I like having 2 because then that way I can switch between some people. Some of the lights will have a bigger 5 power, and then they have a little part here that's magnified as a 10 power. So you might be able to find a light like that too, and then you just would look through that individual part. So when you're going to be looking at a person's eye, you're going to be looking at the colored part, so the iris of the eye. So if we had the eye itself, you're going to have the pupil, what we call an autonomic wreath, which I'll go into, the iris of the eye, and then the white of the eye, the sclera of the eye. Okay, so on eyes, you're going to find that the autonomic wreath can be very different. So in here, we have it coming down and then coming down. So you can kind of see this outline of the eye. So you'll see that it follows this kind of
aren't those
movement.
The lacunas? Or
there's lacunas there too. But right now, all we're going to do is just the autonomic wreath. Now, autonomic wreath is going to be, now this pen is kind of big, but it's just going around the eye. Okay? And in the autonomic wreath, some eyes are going to be big. You might see that it goes out more in an eye.
It's like the flower starburst thing.
Like a starburst, sure. These can be any shape. They might even be really, really close to the pupil. Okay.
So it could be close with long spikes as well?
It can be all kinds of things. So in these ones, I'll do is just erase this. And I'll put it onto this chart. Now, this chart here is actually a copywritten chart, so I can't give you a copy of it. Yeah, so don't know if it will fit in here. All right. Well, you'll get an idea anyways. Mm-hmm. So this person's eye, so if we were going to look at this one, it would have kind of coming down, coming around.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then this, you can't 100% see because there's a flash there. Okay, so that one has the autonomic wreath going like this, and it fits here. So you can kind of see now with this eye what the autonomic wreath would have been. Okay, now the eye beside it though
quite small.
Yeah, it's
It's
really
got the
quite
little spike.
small. Yeah.
These little spikies aren't part of it.
No, those are different marks, which you will learn later. Yeah, so this one here now is quite close. So it has autonomic wreath that is very close to the pupil of the eye. Now this other one, now it looks a little more brown, but it now. Okay, so it's here. What you can really see in this eye here is the fiber difference. There's quite a bit of fiber difference. And it's the edge of the fiber difference that you're going to look for.
Like this one.
Like this brown one that's
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And now you guys have a whole bunch of eyes. Like, I'll put you guys online. And, of course, anybody in correspondence would already have it online, too. And you'll see the colored photographs online. And you can go look at all the different ones. A lot of them I'm pointing to something on them. But you can look at all the different eyes that I've put on there. So the autonomic wreath is really important because without it, you don't know what you're really looking at. And everything that we're going to be looking at is on the outside of the autonomic wreath. So the bigger the wreath, the less we have to look at.
So in the brown eye, you have lots to look at because it's quite small and tight.
Yeah, this one here,
It's hard to see.
yeah, this one here is almost a perfect little circle. But it doesn't have, the quality isn't that good. Which means in level 2, you'll learn more about quality. But again, it's not that bad. Now, the autonomic wreath, if we took an eye, I'm just going to put this one here for now, so let's say these eyes were here. An eye is supposed to be split into 4 equal placements. So the distance between the pupil and the autonomic wreath, and then the autonomic wreath and the outside of the iris, the colored part of the eye, this should be divided into 3 parts, and this should be 1. So we should have a quarter, quarter, and quarter. Like, so 4 quarters in here. This should be all equal. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 quarters. That would make up the distance between here and here. Okay? Now, the first one closest to the pupil is called the pupillary zone. And it's actually divided into 2. Again, it's more digestive, and we don't get into that in level 1. The outside is ciliary 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to have ciliary 1, 2, and 3. And what this is we're getting into kind of like a map. You have to know longitude and latitude to be able to find out where a city is on the world. So this is having us all agree then what we're looking at. So what you're also looking at is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we're also looking at a clock. So anything that would be, let's say, between here this is between noon and 1 and 2 o'clock. So if I said to you 1:30, so there was a mark, let's say, at 1:30, in ciliary 2, you know that it's not quite out the outside, it would be in ciliary 2, in that area. So all it's telling me is an area to look for marks. Just to give you another idea, just a second, and I'll find an eye that we can play with here that would show you marks. So this person's eye, okay, this brown one here, when we put this over, so we have, so here, we'll just draw. Okay, so that's the outside of their eye. Here's their pupil. Now in this picture you'll see that the reflection of the lens, like the light has hit. And then their pupillary zone, well, their autonomic wreath, is right there. Okay? Which, if I divided this up from here to here into 4, it's almost perfect. It's actually almost in a perfect placement, that autonomic wreath. Okay? It's in the pulpary, so that would be perfect placement. And then the ciliary and that too. Now, in this eye, we have a mark here. We have another mark here. We have another mark here.
5
Yeah,
o'clock.
little one here. Yeah, so 3 o'clock. Yeah, so this will be 6. So about 4:45, there's one. And then, yeah, about 5
5:10.
o'clock in C1 with a little bit of C2. It goes through. So when I'm looking at somebody's eyes, I always start, like in level 2 when you learn it, you're going to start looking
Clockwise.
in clockwise so that you can, start somewhere, see what everything's happening, check it to your chart, and do the markings. Okay? So what we're going to do is have you practice. I want you guys to practice the area of the eyes. So now on your next page here, you guys are going to see lacunas. And now we're going to look for some structure signs. So lacunas are getting into the eyes that have what I call petals or flowers or things like that. So if we were going to look onto a person and we have the autonomic wreath, so wherever the wreath is, let's pretend, okay, so wherever that wreath is, it's anything that looks like a flower petal from this side. I don't care where it is in the eye. I don't care how big it is in the eye, but it looks like a petal. It looks kind of like a flower. Okay?
It's only connected to the...
It doesn't have to be connected. It can be a part. Like this one here, in this big one here, you'll see that there's lacunas in here. This one kind of has a big one, and there's a little one beside it. There's another one here, here.
And they don't have to be connected, closed.
Nope, they don't have to be closed. There's all kinds of them. Yeah, there's all kinds of different meanings. Okay, so you'll see that there's oodles and oodles. Now, there is a difference that I want you guys to pay attention to. In the autonomic wreath, so this person's if there are any lacunas that are on the inside of the autonomic wreath, don't count it. They don't count at all, okay? They can only be on the outside of the wreath. And so what you're going to find is in your book, you have a whole bunch of different pictures of different types of lacunas, okay? And they all have a little bit different meaning. And so with that, you're going to find all kinds of different looks. Now, this person has no lacunas whatsoever. They're just, the lines are all straight. They look like they have a kind of a fleck, but it's on the more on the inside digestive zone. I might count that later, but that's not a true fleck to me. This person's eye has absolutely none also. They have no lacunas. No lacunas. Okay? So some do and some don't. Yeah, you're right. You got that one right. You drew it. Yeah. Now, some of these,
what about
though...
these ones? Those are stripes, kind of like lines.
Yeah, those would get into the rays. Like you're going to be fine there. Yeah. A couple of these though are on the inside of the digestive, so I wouldn't worry about them. Okay. But anything on the outside.
So you said which one? We don't care about it?
If it's inside the digestive zone, you don't worry about it. Yep, this one here is good. Outside, these are fine. If there was any in here, we don't worry about them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there can be some inside the other, right? Like this one looks like it's that, and then it's got another one inside it. This one?
Yeah, no, that would be fine. You just count them as is there, yeah.
I got kind of
No, that one doesn't have any.
Okay.
Nope.
This
No.
one does, here.
So if I go looking through some
Wow,
of
this
these
one does.
pictures, just to see if I have any here. A lot of these eyes do not have lacunas. They have flecks, but not lacunas.
I can't tell what one.
Oh, here we go. This person's eye has a couple lacunas here, and it's outside of the wreath. So we have one here, we have another one here, here, here. There's another one here and here. There's some big ones kind of going on here. Little one, tiny one, tiny one. Okay, so these ones, this person's eye
So
has a
there's
few.
one right there, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, so if you wanted to kind of, look at that one there has a few. This one here also has a few on the outside.
This one has tons.
That one has tons. Yeah, that blue one
Yeah.
has tons. Yeah, so these ones have some. Now this person has a fleck and a lacuna. So this eye here has the dark little dot.
It's at 9 o'clock. Is that in the mother zone, or?
This one here is the right eye, right? Because this would be looking at them, this would be their right eye. And so that would be the father zone, for the lacuna. And then it has a fleck, and it has a couple lacunas going on here and here. And some of these, you'd have to look better or in real to see if these lacunas are in the digestive or on the outside of the digestive. Because if they're on the outside, we're marking them. If they're on the inside, we're not. Yeah. Then let's just see if there's both these people have some. Now this one here, you can kind of tell where the digestive zone is. These are inside the digestive, so I'm not going to worry about these ones. But this person, their digestive, these are on the outside of the digestive, and these are on the outside of the digestive.
Is this?
And this one has it. Yeah.
That's the nerve root too.
Yeah, the autonomic nerve root. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so this person, there's lacunas here. There's some here. Here.
There,
Yeah.
there.
That's
there,
right.
There.
Mm-hmm.
The darker.
Yeah. This one has a lot, but on the inside of the autonomic wreath. See how big that wreath is? There isn't really any on the outside.
So these wouldn't be them here? These?
No, those aren't them. These are some like rarifications in that, but they're not lacunas.
But these are lacunas.
Yes.
That.
This is, even though it's the same level. Yeah, and this person has them here. There's a big one here, another one here,
Two
here.
little ones.
Yeah. Now these though are the inside of the digestive.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to worry about those. This person also has flecks too, color marks. This person also has flecks.
So a fleck is just something that's a different color than the eye.
Right. They're just like a paint splotch, like somebody just.
Yeah, I saw it in my chiropractor. There's orange one here.
Yeah.
Inside, but
Okay, so right after lacunas, if you look at the pages for lacuna, you're going to see that there's also the colors. So anything that's straw yellow has a tick for meaning you would give kidneys a 1 count 2. You know how I said things have to have points of 3 or more?
so do you mean by that the eyes in general or the spot?
These are both. Those are both. So the digestive zone, so let's say it has a flash of color. Not necessarily
There's
this one.
one photo.
Yeah, this one here, it gets into that femur chromatose. So this one would be a little different. But if we were going to get into... Okay, this person's eye has a little bit of green here. Like when you get into it, you'll see...
It's green or yellow. It's
It probably yellow over top of the blue makes it look green. So it's probably yellow. And so these would be considered, because they're all by themselves, they're considered flecks. But when you see an eye that has
This one.
like this, where it's like a blast of color coming out, that there, the orange is going to matter. So orange, when we get into color, is pancreas and liver, right? And fluorescent orange, gallbladder, pancreas, or liver. Brown is liver. Black is precancerous or liver. Okay? So then these marks start mattering. Now, when they're in the digestive, right now we're going to not pay attention to it. because it's advanced knowledge. So it's ones that are outside. So like this is outside the digestive. There's an orange blotch here, looks like somebody did a paint job kind of just on it. Okay, that would matter. These eyes don't have any. This one has a little, even though that is the flash of the light, but there is a dark little spot here. So that would be an orange fleck. Okay, and those then you'd want to, that was a brown. It wasn't orange. It's brown. That brown fleck would then mean there's a tick again for liver. Like you would put another mark against the liver for having problems. Okay. Yeah, and then wherever this is located in level 2, you know, like if this is about, let's say 430 or 445 kind of thing, in ciliary 1 there, it doesn't matter which part is, you know, in that area. When we mark it, we would look to the real chart in level 2 and see where it's located and which organ is it located in. And then we would tell that, like we would check mark that organ. Yeah. So depending on the people's flex, like this person, look, they have the blast of energy, but they also have flex. You can see the flex over top. Then it's the flex that I'm counting, but right now, not necessarily the digestive area. Yeah. See, in this other eye, they have lots of flex over here, even though they still have the color blast of the kind of the yellower kind of orange. That now they have fluorescent orange going on here also, all these little flecks that are happening in this person's eyes. Okay. Your next parts here that you're going to take notice of in your book, it says radial solaris and radial furrows. Okay. Now, your radials are these lines that are starbursting out from the eye. So you'll see that all of a sudden, like this eye is quite easy to see because you see all these starbursts. Okay. Now, in your book, when you get the solaris, the solaris comes right out from the pupil. So when that line starts at the pupil and flares out, where then a furrow starts from the digestive zone and flares out. So like here, it kind of is from here, but in some people's eyes, I don't know if we have one on the big eyes here. They'll come just from the digestive wreath. I'm not sure if I have one to show you exactly. Well, here, this one kind of has it. If you look here, like see this one and these, they kind of come right from the pupil, right? But all of a sudden there's one here, but it starts from the digestive wreath, like it isn't attached. This one doesn't go all the right way down. So this would be a furrow. This is the radial solaris, okay? And so then what those have then is if somebody has those, it has, again, it gets into description. So in the book there, you'll be able to read more now, of what. The next one is transferal. And on your guys' pictures that you have, like the ones online, you'll be able to see the transferal. There we go. Transferal, now, the lines go mostly this way, okay? They go from the center of the eye out. Most fibers go this way. A transferal goes the other way. So if I was going to draw this one kind of goes like that. So all of a sudden, you have this line that goes across instead of with the spokes. If I seen somebody with this would matter to me. Okay, but again, in the clock thing, so it's about 2 o'clock, and I would have to then look on our charts later, like in level 2, you'd look at the chart and go, okay, 2 o'clock, where's it going into? And this one's getting into lung. Okay, so it's more level 2 stuff, but right now, level 1, I still need you to know what these marks mean. And when you guys do your exam, we're setting you up so that when we get into level 2, you're not learning all the marks and how to read the eye, right? So level 1 is just learning the marks. Level 2 is how to read the eye. Okay, like how to put all the story together. Now, the central heterochromia and the sectorial heterochromia is getting